with us. Yes, we have one more announcement.
People were not able to get your class photo on Wednesday due to rain. After the ceremony, we'll all head to the front steps of the law school to get your class.
Yes. Yes, we have one more announcement.
People were not able to get your class photo.
Good afternoon, faculty, staff, colleagues, friends, and family. It's a great honor that I present to you the class of 2025 from the University of Mississippi School of Law. I know many of you are joining us virtually, so welcome. My name is Susan Duncan, and I'm in law school. Joining me today at this most joyful event is Randy Pierce, a former Supreme Court Justice and current director of our Judicial College, and John Fletcher. He's from Jones Walker, whose firm is sponsoring this event. And we are so fortunate to have their support. I think you all saw this morning how many attorneys and judges support us. So we're very grateful to have the support of the bar. So thank you, John. So the students already know this, but for the families joining us, I just want you to know a little bit about this class. There's 178 of them and 5 transfer students. We have 82 Mississippians and 96 non-residents from 25 different states. They represent 74 undergraduate institutions. They have 53 majors in this class, including biomedical engineering. They have set the highest academic credentials the school has ever seen. Here's some fun facts about them. There is a search and rescue swimmer of the Navy, a pipe organist, a nuclear engineer, a Teach for America Corps member, an Appalachian Trail through hiker, a competitive diver, a high school debate coach, and we have veterans, parents, 4 accelerated law students, and 31 first-generation college students. So thank you, Dean Bradley, for this excellent class. I've met many of the 1Ls in the last few days, and I can vouch for their intelligence and their enthusiasm. We are so proud to add them to our close-knit community here at Ole Miss, and I am optimistic they will contribute immediately to our culture of service and success. And did I mention how smart they are? I mean, after all, they did pick the best law school in the country. These students chose a law school that purposefully maintains a small faculty to student ratio so that they get the best experience during their time here. They chose a law school with the business law program named top in the country by national jurists. They chose a school named 13th in the nation for federal clerkships. And for you families, there's about 200 law schools, so 13th in the nation. They chose a best value law school. They chose a law school that's been named the best regional law school for African-American students. They chose a law school with a business law program named top in the country by national jurists. They chose a law school that has won an ABA award, one of only 3 given by the American Bar Association just 2 weeks ago for our wellness program. They chose a school whose Latin Law Student Association was just named the #1 chapter in the United States, and a school with 3 advocacy boards whose competitions over the last decade, whose competitors over the last decade have won over 50 national championships. Last year, we won the Closer, a very prestigious negotiation competition at Baylor, and a national trial competition at the University of Florida. So it was a really good year for the law school and the baseball team, I must say. And Coach Kiffin, no pressure, but we're going to get those championships next year. These 1L students also picked a school with a devoted staff that cares deeply about the success of our students, and a faculty committed to excellence in service, skills, and scholarship. Ole Miss faculty members incorporate skills into their classes to make sure their students are practice ready. They use best practices in teaching adult learners, and they work on cutting edge research projects. They are considered experts in their fields and are commonly quoted in the New York Times, Forbes, and the Washington Post, just to name a few. We have faculty working with national and local agencies to find solutions for challenges facing society and our communities. These students picked a school that has faculty and staff winning all kinds of awards, including the Faculty Achievement Award that will be bestowed on Associate Dean Will Berry a week from today. This award, they only give one every year. So think how hard that is with all the faculty at this university that are outstanding. It's one of the university's highest awards, and it recognizes a remarkable effort in the classroom, involvement with students, active scholarship, and service to the university. And he joins a long list of faculty and staff who have won many university and national awards. We would be here all day if I just said the one since I've been dean. So students, I want you to know that your faculty, they're not only superstars in their respective fields, but they are going to be your mentors and your guides. They are committed to helping you reach your full potential and to making sure you are ready for whatever you want to do in your life. And you will assist them with their projects, gaining skills and experience, and forming lifelong friendships as future colleagues. And we need your smart minds to help solve the complex problems of today's world. Remember, every major issue in society, every issue from civil rights to business transaction is touched by the law. If we don't continue to have bright, confident lawyers, our country will suffer. Kelly Testi, who is now the head of LSAC, so you all know that from LSAC, right? She used to be the dean at University of Washington School of Law, and when she was president of the Association of American Law Schools, she made her theme Why Law Matters. And when she first gave her annual address back then, she said this, and I really like this. She said, "Law is often seen too narrowly, in my view, is only a system of dispute resolution rather than in its broader role of creating what I call an ecosystem for human flourishing. I suppose that in this broader sense, law is like the air we breathe, perhaps noticed most by its absence rather than by its presence. But we can no more live healthy lives without the rule of law in the world than we can live without air. And waiting to appreciate its vital role until we are choking and grasping is not a good strategy." So at the University of Mississippi School of Law, we understand this, and we produce leaders who help our communities flourish. Our law school prioritizes service to its community through its amazing clinics and institutes. Our clinic students represent prisoners with conviction claims, children who are abused and neglected, families and individuals who are facing eviction and foreclosure, the elderly who need assistance, and our students are strong advocates for human rights and social justice. Our law students don't just learn the doctrine, but they put into practice what they are learning in the classrooms. The training in both doctrine and skills has produced many leaders in Mississippi and across this great nation. By joining us at Ole Miss, you are following an impressive group of alums who have walked these halls. We have produced general counsels for Fortune 500 companies, Supreme Court justices, United States senators, attorneys who have litigated at the Supreme Court, managing law firms, large and small, prosecutors, public defenders, legal aid attorneys, business owners. Our alums are the leaders of every field. I hope you'll see that with a degree, you can do anything you want. With me 34 years ago, where you are, I could not in my wildest dreams think that one day I would become dean of school. So you just don't know it's coming your way, but you're going to be ready for it. We are committed to ensuring your success. I look really forward to the wonderful things you're going to do with this degree, and I'm confident that you're going to be fully prepared for whatever you choose. And I sincerely hope that you will use this degree to do good. Remember when I told you that earning this degree is a privilege and with it comes great responsibility? I want to share something that I once heard that I think is a great way for us to think about our responsibility as lawyers. So I'm Irish. My dad, my main name's Hanley. Where's the guy that's right outside of Notre Dame, the South Bend, our student that's from Indiana? Yeah, you're right here. So we were just talking, big Irish fans. So the Irish people love to tell stories. So that's a big thing when you're from an Irish Catholic family, you always tell stories. So my dad used to tell this story that a man arrives at the gates of heaven and he sees St. Peter, and St. Peter says, "So welcome, but before I can let you in, you first must show me your scars." And the man was like, "What?" And he said, "Your scars, just show me your scars and then I can let you in." And the man's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he said, "No, of course, you have scars. What, just show them to me and I'll let you in." And the man said, I have no scars. And St. Peter looked at him and said, "What a pity. Was there nothing worth fighting for? I hope that you will fight for your clients, for people who need a voice, for the communities you live in, for your families and for your profession. I hope that you will have lots of scars when you reflect back on the life you've lived and the wonderful career that started this week." Before I conclude, though, I want to thank the friends and family that got you here today. I know you are one of the reasons your 1L is here with us. Your support has been an integral part of their success, and they need your continued support as they face new challenges. Keep telling them how much you believe in them. Be there when they need a shoulder to cry on, maybe, and be patient when they need to study. Having you join us today helps show them how proud you are of them, and I thank you for helping them realize their dream. Students, can you please thank your supporters? At this time, I would like to introduce Randy Pierce. Randy is the director of the Mississippi Judicial College, as you all know. He previously served on the Mississippi Supreme Court and as a chancellor of the 16th Chancery Court District and as a member of the House of Representatives. Randy received his Juris Doctor from the great University of Mississippi School of Law, where he served as student body president. He has an undergraduate degree in accounting and a master's degree in business administration from the University of Southern Mississippi. He is also a certified public accountant. While a member of the Mississippi Supreme Court, Randy served as co-chair of the Supreme Court's Commission on Children's Justice. He also served as the Rules Committee on the Legal Profession. He's a frequent speaker at continuing legal education courses and has served as an adjunct professor at the University of Southern Mississippi, Mississippi College of Law, and of course here. So many of you hopefully will take his class. He's a member of the Mississippi Bar, the American Bar Association, the Mississippi Society of CPAs, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. He is a wonderful human being. There's not a better man than Randy Pierce. He is a great friend and a great colleague. So please help me in welcoming Randy.
Thank you, Dean. And what an honor it is to work with the Dean here. And before we go any further, not only Dean Duncan, but also Bet and Rose and Suzette and all the DLC members and everyone else that are on staff here. I know you're going to want to join me in giving them a round of applause, right? I have enjoyed meeting you. I enjoyed meeting my small group of mentees. If you're one of mine, raise your hand. I see y'all. Which one of y'all told me you wanted to stick it to the man? That's you right there. It's an exciting time in your lives, and parents, family that are watching via Zoom or whatever web platform we're using today, we welcome you and thank you for sending us your family members. We're going to take good care of you all and them while they're here. So it's exciting, isn't it? Most exciting for you right now is this man here gets to close you out here. He's going to be the last speaker. He'll be your favorite one. But we thank Jones Walker for sponsoring this, and thank you, John, for being here. But your career has started. Your legal career has started. You're about to embark on an incredible education journey. I was 29 when I started law school. So it's been 28 years since I sat in your chair, but I was a CPA for 7 years. And when I came up here, I remember sitting out with about 190 of my classmates. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone in the class, and I was scared to death. Would I be able to do this? But over time, through great professors, I was able to achieve what you are here to do, to get a law degree. When you leave here, you're going to pass the bar. You're going to begin your legal career. And I like to refer to it, and I told my mentees this, that bar license is like the golden ticket. It admits you to the bar. It admits you to the opportunity and opportunities to go out there and advocate for people that need an advocate. And what a special privilege that is, as the dean mentioned. And with that, as she also mentioned, goes great responsibility. It is hard to believe, again, that 28 years has passed. My law school success story, though, began in a little small town called Leakesville, Mississippi. Where's my man from Mize, Mississippi in the audience? There you are, way in the back. What about my young lady from Taylorsville? Kate, where are you? There you are. I put this on Twitter last night, by the way. I took a selfie with her, so we almost went viral. I love it, no matter where you come from the other states. I've met so many of you, several from Colorado. You're going to love it here, and we're going to love having you here. But my success story began in that little small town, began with the training of my parents, and some of your parents are tuned in right now. My parents weren't, I was first generation undergrad and law grad, and so, but they didn't need a college degree to teach me the two things that will help you succeed. First is hard work. There's just no substitute for it. You know, there is no secret to success at law school. If you'll work hard. And my kids probably will put on my headstone, grinders win. That's what I always tell them. When they complain about when I give them to do, I go, grinders win. You know, when Michael Jordan, he practiced a lot. Tiger Woods, he practiced a lot. No matter how good they were out there grinding. But you can grind and it is hard work, the law profession. But you also can have a work-life balance, and don't forget that. But they taught me the value of hard work. I try to teach my kids that. The tortoise, the old fable, the tortoise beats the hare, every time I read that story, through consistent application of a good, strong work ethic. I remember, as I said before, my orientation, and I looked around the room, and I went to my first, we used to be in 3 sections then. I was in section 1. And you sat down, and I remember sitting with this group of people that I didn't know that will be my lifelong friends. We studied, we formed a study group together, and one today is a tax lawyer in New York City, doing quite well, by the way, Paul Stasilis. Another in my study group is Alan Couch. He's a county court judge in DeSoto County. And I could go on and on. Another classmate from my section is Deborah Brown, the federal district court judge here in the Northern District of Mississippi. And then there was a guy that I became friends with really my second and third year who wasn't in section 1, named Jay Perry, who tried to practice the law on the plaintiff side, defense side, didn't like either. And now he's on the coaching staff at Mississippi State University. Good old Jay Perry. He and I were buddies in law school. But orientation is important. And next week begins this career that you've already started, your legal profession. There are going to be times, and I'm going to make this offer to you, and I'll make it to your parents too. I offer this every year. This, by the way, Dean, is my 6th year to do this, to administer the oath and bring these remarks. So this is my 6th group. And but I make this offer every year, and I mean it. If you get to a point where you need a word of encouragement, even if you're not one of my 12 mentees, email me. All of the faculty and staff, all of our emails are under our profiles, under the faculty directory and staff directory. Email me. And I will make a time early, late, during hours, after hours to meet you. And every year, thankfully, I get a couple of you will reach out to me, and you're at a point you go, you know what, this is different from undergraduate school. And I can help you transition and kind of overcome some insecurities perhaps that you might have about law school. You have been vetted by the best admission staff in the country, with Brett Bradley and Sharon and everyone in that office. There's no doubt that you're here to be successful. So remember that if you get to wondering, there's a lot going on here. You've been vetted. You're supposed to be here. But the second quality, my parents taught me to work hard. But they also taught me the second thing that I think, and you heard Justice Griffiths mention it this morning, he did a fantastic job in his remarks, but to just be nice, to be kind. I'm on the back side of my legal career, but even in my law school days, I remember parents taught me to respect other people. And I'll tell you a little story. I was a nerd a little bit. Being a CPA, I probably gave it away. But I did my own outlines. How many of you know what an outline is yet? Okay, good. Good, most of you. I had gotten outlines from these second and third year students. By the way, when you learn, for example, that, oh, there's so-and-so, she's number one in the class, legit respect right there. Boy, if I could just get her outline. Most of your students would go up to them. You got an outline for this class, they'll give it to you. And when I was in law school, a young man named Mark Orgler, he's a very successful lawyer in Biloxi. He came up to me, he said, Randy, you mind if I look at your outline? And it was good. It was almost annotated. It was so good. Contracts, Professor John Bradley. And I said, sure, here it is. You can take a look at it. I said, go make you a copy. He said, are you serious? In fact, anybody in my section that wanted it had it. Because guess what? The value is not in the outline. The value is in the preparation of the outline. And so be willing to give away of yourself. Don't get caught up in being so competitive that you want to be the top of the class, that therefore you want to hoard what you have. No, I have found that success comes in giving of yourself, not in taking in trying to take and hide. So make sure you remember that. We need to be servants. My parents taught me the respect and the dignity of every person, no matter where you're from, no matter what your politics are. Where are my Mississippi State Bulldogs in here? Even if you're a Mississippi State Bulldog. No, we value every person you meet. We need to be servants, serving our neighbors, serving complete strangers. A law degree will allow you to stand in the gap for many different people and be their advocate. I would also encourage you, as I said before, to share with each other. If a classmate is having trouble with a concept, I promise you, you're not wasting your time by sitting down with her or him and going over it. So, I've got this offer acceptance consideration. Let me talk about it with you, because by doing so, you are, again, learning. Those same classmates, by the way, that I was able to share that outline with my first year, I was a non-traditional student. How many of you are my non-traditionals? I love you. You're my people. I was a little older, and I didn't do this on purpose. I was just doing what my parents taught me to do, is be nice to people. And during my latter part of my second year, a small group of these people came up to me and said, Randy, would you run for law school student body president? Because the law school student body president, by the way, one of you will be there, gets to speak at graduation. And they wanted me to speak at graduation. I said, look, I'm 30 years old. I said, one of you 23-year-olds, one of you traditional students need to do that. They said, no, we're going to sign you up. And they signed me up. I didn't sign me up. And we were elected president. I did get to speak at their graduation. And guess what? When I was running for the Supreme Court of Mississippi, which is an elected office, that group had a fundraiser because they wanted me to be on the Supreme Court. And those relationships began right here. I had some of the best professors, and you're going to have some professors you will always remember. Those first year professors, you will remember them the rest of your lives. And we got some good ones here, and you're going to love learning from them. Contracts, I bet you, John, all of us can name our first year professors. Contracts, John Bradley. Property, Guff Abbott. And by the way, he taught Mississippi civil practice, and I took over his class after he taught it for 40 plus years. And I'm doing a poor job of trying to fill his shoes, but the content is still there. I had for torts, I mentioned Robert Kayat, who this building's named after, who went on to become the chancellor. And speaking of kindness, Robert Kayat, when he moved over, he left after my first semester at law school. I was the last person that was able to take his class. And he spoke at my investiture when I was sworn into the Mississippi Supreme Court. He demonstrated kindness because, one, he knew my daddy was fighting cancer when I was in law school. It was terminal cancer. He knew my daddy was had worked at the shipyard. He knew my daddy was a hard worker. He knew my daddy loved Ole Miss. So he called me one day and he said, I got something I want to send your daddy. So I go to the Lyceum and he had a gift. It was a gift wrap. It was right before Christmas. He said, I want you to put your name on that from you to your father. And I said, I can't do that, Chancellor. I said, it's going to be more important coming from you than from me because he loves you. He's never met you, but he just honors the family and your daddy. And his daddy was a longtime supervisor down in Jackson County. So, long story, I get home. I didn't know what was in it. Gave it to my daddy. He opened the present, and it was the whole coach's outfit. That was when Tuberville was here, who's now in the U.S. Senate. You went on to Auburn. And so there was my daddy on Christmas morning dressed like he was about to coach the Ole Miss football team. Robert Kayette did that for my daddy. And that's the kind of things that we need to be about. It is not going to be a checkbook balance. It's not going to be how many acres you own. It is not going to be any of that. It's going to be, when you look back on your life, have I made a difference? Have I been kind? Have I been respectful? Have I appreciated other people's perspectives? Have I listened to with a genuine, open heart? And so I hope you will remember those remarks. All right. Again, please reach out to me if you want to meet, because I'd be happy to meet with you. I do that every semester. And if you're a parent watching and your child is confiding in you that they're having a tough time and they're afraid to reach out to somebody, you go to the faculty website, you find Randy Pierce, you email me, and they won't know about it. I'll check on them for you, because that's what we're going to do here at Ole Miss. We're going to take care of them. All right. So I get to swear you in, future attorneys, counselors. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? When I was on the Mississippi Supreme Court, I got to swear in other judges. I've sworn in members of the bar. I was able, as a Chancery Court judge, to swear in members of the bar who are now judges. I have married people. So if you need to get married, we can make that happen. But nothing gives me as much pleasure as taking a whole group of 78 outstanding first-year lawyers at the University of Mississippi, asking you to rise. So if y'all rise. This is where it's going to work. The beginning might seem a little bit awkward to you, but that's okay. I could read this and ask you to say I do. I like these words. So what I'm going to ask you to do, you get in front of you, because I'm going to repeat it. Then you repeat it for me, but just reflect, and as you speak, reflect on the words that are spoken, okay? So raise your right hands. If you're in my courtroom, where are you in? I'm not going to do that yet. But all students at the University of Mississippi School of Law take the oath of professionalism, marking your official entry into the legal profession. So here we go. Repeat after me. As I begin the study of law, the University of Mississippi, I state your name, gratefully acknowledge the privileges inherent in becoming a lawyer, and willingly accept the responsibility that must accompany those privileges. From this day forward, I promise to do my utmost to live of my chosen profession. I will remember that my actions reflect not only of myself, but upon the University of Mississippi School of Law and the legal profession. I vow to be a person of principle, truth, compassion, strength, and courage. At all times, I will conduct myself with dignity and civility, showing kindness and respect toward my classmates, teachers, and all. I have read, the University of Mississippi School of Law, Honor Code, and I hereby commit that I will conduct in accordance with the values and standards expressed. This pledge I take freely and upon my honor. Congratulations. Be seated for just one moment. I'm going to ask my colleague Brittany to come up, and we're going to give some instructions about the pinning ceremony.
Now taking the oath verbally, we will ask you to sign the oath up front. So a few instructions before you all do come down. First of all, please refrain from the border of the border, as that will be covered by a frame. So sign your name for the inside of the mat. This framed oath will be given to the graduating student in 2025 with the highest GPA. Once you sign the mat, please come to this side of the table and grab a pen. Once you're back in your seat, you go ahead and put your pen on your collar. How we will do this is row by row from the beginning. We'll start on this side of the room. We'll come forward down this aisle, sign, grab your pen, and then return to your seat. If I could ask the DLC members to come down and help me with that at this time. We'll go ahead and get started. All right, you guys. Ready?
Small characters where it's odd. All right. I'm assigning.
This is like a vibe thing, right? This is it. Wait for your mom.
Yeah, very strategic, waiting my turn.
Oh, really? Yeah, just give me a
Now you got to be number one ranked, so you can take that with you.
Is that number one over all 3 years, I guess?
Yeah.
All right, can we give a big round of applause to the guys? So I think that's calling Randy here to come up here and recite everybody's hometown college. You know, it's all of you now. No, I'm so happy that you're now officially part of our community. I want to thank Brittany and her team again. They were fantastic. I know she's exhausted, so you made it. Thank you very much. I know, there's so many wonderful events throughout the whole year, but my favorites are this ceremony and graduation. I mean, they're the best because you see these new 1Ls, they're so enthusiastic. And then, of course, when you're sending them out to the world, it's nothing better than that. And you all have a very special bond with me because you will be the last class that I'm going to do this for as the dean. So I'll be, but it's a little emotional to look at you all and think you all are the last class. So I think we're going to have a special bond because we're going to make this year fantastic because we got to go out on top. So you got to help me do this. But I'm so happy you've chosen this law school, and I think you're going to love it here. And families, like Justice Pierce said, take care of your children, and I think you will love the results after you see these next 3 years. So to close this out, John to come up again, and I want to thank you again, and Jones Walker for always being so supportive, and we are so grateful to have you with us today. But it's
Wow, it kind of feels real, doesn't it? You're official, you're bona fide. Congratulations. On behalf of Jones Walker, thank y'all for letting us come up and be a part of this special day. We did it last year as well. And it always brings back a flood of memories for me. I'll tell you a little something about myself. I'm a bit of a pack rat. I have a hard time throwing things away that probably have no value. But this morning, I'm going through my closet before I left. I'm rummaging through an old box, and I found this. Now, have either of you ever seen an antique like this? Anybody even know what it is? So back before everything was online and we had smartphones and stuff, this is called a date book. And this is what we had to write important things down that we needed to remember. Like, I'm looking here at some of our earliest assignments, read International Shoe, read Canoyer versus Neff, party at Kevin's house. Really, really important stuff, right? And so, but I thought back a couple of days and August 19th, 1991, exactly 31 years today. 31 years ago today, I was sitting in your seat. That was our day of orientation. We said the exact same oath. And, I remember the emotions of talking to somebody, the emotions you're feeling, a lot of excitement, maybe a little bit nervous, kind of like, what have I gotten myself into? But you're going to have a great time over the next 3 years. I remember at our orientation, our dean, David Shipley, fantastic guy. I think he was probably messing with us just a little bit, but he gave them a whole famous slide. Look to your left, look to your right, somebody's not going to be here at the end of the year. And I know he was trying to kind of mess around with us a little bit. I've got a little different take on it though. And I didn't want you to do this. I want you to take stock of people that are sitting around you, people to your left and right in front of you. A lot of these people you're just getting to know. You didn't know when you came in. Not only are these people going to be your colleagues for the rest of your life, some of them are going to be your best friends for the rest of your life. If your experience is like mine, there's a really good chance that some of you will be standing in one another's wedding. Now, if you're in a rush, you want to go ahead and get that over with. Spear said, "Come on down and square your money." But that was my experience. A lot of people that I started out with 31 years ago today that I barely knew. We were in one another's weddings. Now, our kids are growing up together. I heard somebody, Jackson Prep. I was there last night. My youngest son is a ninth grader. We were having the kickoff event for the year and ran into one of my classmates. Well, two of our older kids graduated together a few years ago, ran into him and, we got to kind of reminisce. And I told him, I was coming up today and we started thinking about, like we remember this day that we were kind of burned out. We skipped class one day. Not that I'm recommending you skip class, but it might have been Civ Pro. But I remember, we just needed that day off, and we remember taking off that day and going down to the Yakima River and going fishing one afternoon like it was yesterday. 31 years is going to go by real fast, and you're never going to forget the people that you went through this with. You're never going to forget some of the events that you went through together. You've chosen a demanding program because it's a demanding career. I mean, it really is. And you're going to work hard. But I hope you take time to have fun. I hope you take time to get to know people because this was one of the most rewarding 3 years of my career. I had so much fun here, and I hope that's your experience. Work hard. You're going to do that, but take time to have a good time. The 3 years is going to go by in a flash, but the memories will be with you forever, and so will the people. Thanks again for letting us be a part of this. Congratulations. Best of luck. I'm going to be up here a good bit in the spring. I look forward to seeing y'all around the law school. And please come up and say hey to me if you see me. Good luck, everybody.
Special thanks to Dean Duncan, Justice Pierce, and Mr. Fletcher for sharing these words with us today. Also, a huge thank you to Mr. Fletcher and his firm for sponsoring this ceremony. All right, we have come to the conclusion of orientation, but we are not done. It is 2:06. We're going to take a brief break. Please be on the front steps by 2:15 for your class photo. Again, 2:15 on the front steps for your class photo. Those of you who could not have your new participation, go to the courtyard afterwards. You're dressed, dude.